Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are starting day one, week one of my decluttering series, Messy to Minimal, and we are starting with the shed. And I know it's probably the stupidest place because I don't even go out here, but I feel like I need to get this area clean first so we can throw more junk into it when I clean the rest of the house, right? Right. So let me show you what we're working with. All right, so this is what we are dealing with in our shed. In our little apartment type house, we have a shed off of our back door. And if you are not new here, you would know I say that we have no outdoor space, and that is still true. The outdoor space that is behind our house is not usable to us really. So that's why we are bringing everything in to sort it, because we cannot use the outdoor area of our home out in the back. The very first step that we are doing is taking everything out and putting it in a pile so we can see what we have, if we have any duplicates or anything like that, before we start throwing stuff away. So this is week one of my decluttering series, and decluttering is really hard for us because we are a low income, single income family, and we are a family of 4. And we are starting to turn into hoarders. Our mindset around things in our home is that if we need them, we're not going to have money to buy it again. So we don't want to get rid of anything in case it's useful later. But at the same time, that is making our home cluttered and kind of unhappy because we have so much junk surrounding us all the time. And we really don't have the space to be storing extra things that we just don't use. So to kind of aid us in our decluttering journey, we're setting some parameters to kind of help us get stuff out of the house. So our first rule is kind of like the Marie Kondo kind of situation. This is spark joy. Let me just tell you, anything in the shed does not spark any joy. So we don't need to worry about that really. I'm leaving the clip in there of my husband struggling to get that paint liner out because I just think that's so funny. Alrighty, moving on. My second rule is, if it can be replaced in under 10 minutes with $10 and we don't use it, we are getting rid of it. Our third rule is, if we haven't touched it since we moved in or since we bought it, we are getting rid of it as well. We moved into this house about 5 years ago, and some of this stuff is still in the package and never used. And so that's keeping and taking up a lot of real estate that we could be using for something else. I really wanted to do the shed first on my decluttering series because ideally I would like to put a lot of the bigger items that we were storing in the house out there. So I kind of want to get an idea of how much space I had. So for example, I really want to put our Christmas items out in the shed because we only use them once a year. And that kind of goes to the second space I want to clean out, which is the space above our closets. Our ceilings are vaulted upstairs, so we have some open vaulted storage space, but it's open and you can see all the junk up there. So if I can move all the Christmas stuff that's up there into the shed, I will feel like my walls aren't closing in on me so much. Okay, and reason 100 why I want to do the shed first was because my husband was off today. Today is actually January 1st, so it's a holiday, so he is home. And obviously the shed is not really my forte, it's not my expertise. So I really needed his help figuring out what stays, what goes. Also, I did not mind that he did most of the heavy lifting. Watching this back, I'm like, wow, I really didn't do much of anything at all. He did most of the work, which is really nice. While we are cleaning out the shed, my youngest is napping and my toddler is watching Curious George over on the couch. Usually we are very strict about screen time, but there is no way we'd be able to keep him out of the backyard space to keep him safe and keep him out of the dangerous tools that we are bringing in. So screen time and Curious George it is. In this decluttering video, I'm also doing a variety of different editing styles to kind of see what y'all like the best. I did some fast forwarding, I did some in real time. I'm doing the voiceover. So let me know what you prefer, if you like it in fast forward or if you want me to do real time. Also, I kind of addressed this before. I like to talk through my videos because y'all would have went to Spotify or Apple Music if you want to listen to music. You come to YouTube to listen to some random person talk about their life or just listen to me ramble. Moving on to more interesting things. Today, as I am editing and also filming this video, it is January 1st. So, new year, new me. If you watched my last video, about embracing being a homemaker, that is my number one goal. So keeping my house clean, making some really yummy food, that's my own personal goal. But me and my husband has some goals that we are working on together. So one of them is actually practicing hospitality. For a long time, I have been embarrassed about my small house and how cluttered and how I feel like is so disgusting, even though it's not that bad. And I never invite people over. I always enjoyed hosting, but I never invite people over because I was embarrassed, honestly. So this year, we are pushing ourselves to be good hosts and hostesses and invite people over once a month. So we are inviting a different couple or family or just someone over once a month, feed them a good meal, maybe play some games. If they have kids, let our kids play together. And really stretch that muscle that we have been lacking for so long. Also, throwing it back to my last video about feeling discontent, that kind of plays into the whole hospitality thing because of how I would feel embarrassed having people come to my home. But I need to be a good steward of my home and share my home with others. The Lord has given us this house, even though it is small and even though I feel like it is out of control, He has given us this house as a gift, and we need to share that gift with others, no matter how small it is. And also, cooking them a good meal. We don't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of money to give to people, but we do have food and we can share food. And people usually like to share lives with people around a dinner table. So, getting to know one another and also not sticking with just the same people. Inviting different people over will also help our social skills, help our kids' social skills, and teach them how to be good hosts, because I only have boys, good hosts when they have friends over as well. Our second goal as a couple is only buying toys for our kids on birthdays or on holidays, so like Christmas. We have fallen into the trap of going to the store, the grocery store, buying one little car here, one little coloring book there. And so we are just stuck in that trap and we just need to get out of it. We don't have the money and we don't have the space to keep up with that. And the third thing we're going to try to do is to thrift things before we go buy new. And this one's going to be a little bit harder because I feel like the more I go to the thrift store, the more money I'll spend because it's like, oh, I need this, I need that. So I think if I make a list of the running things that we need and check the thrift store, like not even weekly, but occasionally, and picking up the things there instead of just running straight to Amazon, I think that would be a better course of action. Being able to thrift birthday presents as well might be a good challenge, but I think that would be difficult too because I know some people in my life that prefer new and do not appreciate a secondhand gift, which is fine, to each their own. And also, some people just prefer gift cards, and gift cards can really add up. And this year, we are really focusing on stretching our finances, and that might be meaning we cut back on how much we give for each birthday. But anyways, who knows? I might look back at this video in a year and be like, psh, I was so full of it. But I'll take you along for the ride and we'll see if I even do any of this. Hopefully, I do because I feel like those are pretty good, healthy habits to implement, not just this year, but for the rest of my life, right? The big thing I somewhat forgot we had in the shed was my childhood toys. So in this big bucket my husband is carrying in is my favorite toys when I was a kid. So it is Polly Pockets and Littlest Pet Shops. I am going to go ahead and pass these on to my sister because she has a little girl that would much rather play with these than my boys would. My boys are car boys all the way. I think they would enjoy playing with them, but we just don't have the space for toys that they potentially could like. But these are like the OG Littlest Pet Shop with the magnets in the foot and the Polly Pockets. I remember playing for hours and hours, setting up villages, dressing them up. I took such good care of them. And my mom kept them, packaged them away, and apparently now they are in my shed. I'm so glad I kept them these years, and I'm so glad to be passing them on to someone who could use them. I know that some of these things are going for lots and lots of money, and they are prized, precious, not vintage, hopefully not vintage, but these are very sought after on the resale websites. This Polly Pocket airplane I had to take out and open. This thing was my fave. It came with a runway and I think a little pool. This was my favorite Christmas present when I got as a kid because my parents, long story short, I saw it at a TJ Maxx. I went into the dressing room and I came out and it wasn't there anymore. Fast forward, my parents actually had this whole ruse to get me in the dressing room. My dad went and bought it, hid it in the trunk of the car, and when I came out, I was so sad because it was purchased and it was gone. And my parents were like, "Oh, it's okay." Blah, blah, blah. But actually, I got it for Christmas, and I remember that still to this day. My mom does not remember that, but I do. We have a few exciting things happening in 2025. My husband is in the education system. I'm not going to say exactly what he does, but he's planning on taking a math test, or it's called a endorsement test, to add to his certificate so he can move up to high school or teach any grade in math. And let me just tell you, these tests are super insane and super intense, and he's super smart when it comes to math, and that test is coming up. Hopefully, he's passing. He has been studying very, very hard, and that is an exciting thing that's happening for us this year. Also, did you know Valentine's Day, 4th of July, and Halloween are all on Fridays this year? What? So that means you guys, you can party late on these holidays, don't have to worry about going to the work the next day. So this is donate to far. Full lot of trash. And then there's trash in the actual trash can over there. All cleaned out. Now we are reorganizing the shed and putting everything back in. That gray tote did have all the toys I'm giving to my sister, but I put it in a different container that I don't mind her keeping. Hopefully, all our Christmas stuff will fit in that gray tote. Unfortunately, we just don't have the time in on that day to go through all our attic stuff. So we just put it back in empty, and then we will fill it with our Christmas stuff once we do our attic. It's not really an attic, our storage space above our vaulted ceilings. I know it doesn't feel like it where we live, but technically it is winter time. So we've been watching a lot of winter inspired movies like Frozen. And I have a hot take about Frozen and Frozen 2. I prefer watching Frozen 1. I like the music in Frozen 2 better, but Frozen 2 makes almost zero sense to me. I feel like if Disney would have added maybe 15 to 25 minutes more to the movie so we can have the lore of Frozen explained to us in a little bit more detail, I feel like I would enjoy it better. Because I feel like, the whole spirits and stuff, and Elsa being a spirit, why is she the only human, is a little bit of a stretch to me. So that's why I just don't like watching the movie. The music's fine. How do you feel about Frozen 2? Let me know. I need the lore. I need the backstory. I need something to go off of this mythical land. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you made it this far, you're a true friend. Thank you for being my friend. Like and subscribe. Send this to someone you think needs to declutter their shed. It's okay to be a little passive aggressive. Also, thank you for joining my journey as I am trying to make my home more of a peaceful, functional space for me and my family. Hopefully, you find some encouragement and makes you feel a bit less lonely if you're in the same boat as I am.